When you walk in a natural area, you can encounter many treasures. You may find savory leeks, prize mushrooms, delicious berries, and glorious wildflowers. The woods are alive with birds singing and bees buzzing. But the greatest prize of all on your walk may be this.
First garlic mustard seedling.
The first arrival of garlic mustard to reach a new area. It is a great find because if you pull it now, before it goes to seed and spreads, you prevent this, which can lead to this, which leads to this, which leads to this. Thus, the goal must be to locate these new infestations and snuff them out before monocultures of garlic mustard can replace our treasured diversity of native species, because only aggressive, non-native species can get a foothold once garlic mustard has invaded.
What happens when invasive species take over is that they begin shifts in the species mix of the forest from open woodland type ecosystems to forests that are dominated by fast growing species and are choked with shrubs and are very different from the forests that we inherited from our parents and our ancestors. All of this is at risk, and I've seen many forests that have gone from a condition like this to a condition of almost complete dominance by garlic mustard in the space of less than a decade.
Brought over by the European colonists as an herb for their gardens, garlic mustard is spreading fast from the east coast to the west coast. In places where it has had years to grow unchecked,
it has become just ubiquitous. I mean, being found everywhere.
Why is this happening? One reason is that this species can survive in a wide range of habitats.
Under the white pines.
Wow. So it's quite adaptable. Yeah, I've seen it in really sunny areas, and it can grow in very dense shade. You can see that right now it's underneath a bunch of plants, but that doesn't deter it. It'll just pop up right through them.
Another reason for its rapid spread.
It reseeds so easily. It produces a phenomenal amount of seed.
And the seeds can stay viable in the seed bank for 5 to 10 years. Its aggressive growth rate is another factor.
It can grow much more rapidly than our wildflowers reproduce, and they start to shade out all these plants that are growing underneath them, including our baby trees, like our small maples that are trying to grow up through this layer.
Not only does it outcompete just by growing and reproducing so rapidly,
garlic mustard is allelopathic, and that means that it produces chemicals from its roots that kill the fungal organisms that many of the native plants and our most important tree species
there's a white oak seedling,
absolutely depend on to survive and grow. And we think of this as kind of a chemical warfare between competing plants.
Garlic mustard didn't evolve in North America, so it has no natural enemies here. To the contrary, people and other mammals are helping to spread it.
Garlic mustard has benefited from explosive deer populations that feed on native plants and disturb the soil with their hooves and track garlic mustard seeds in.
Animals like deer and other animals pick it up in the tiny seeds in their fur, and then when they walk through the woods, the seeds disperse off their fur, or even in the cuffs of our pants, you know, when you're out in the woods. And
cleaning the soles of your shoes whenever you come out of a forest. If you're out hiking and you see a patch of garlic mustard, find a way to go around it.
Because there's a huge seed bank there that will then be on our shoes, and we'll be dragging it into other areas.
This is important year-round, but especially after garlic mustard has gone to seed in the late summer and fall. Mark them so others know to avoid them too. Moving plants around is another potential vector.
So sometimes you're picking things up at gardening sales, bringing them into your yard, and you're planting garlic mustard seeds along with whatever plant you have.
Sanitation is minimizing the extent to which we become unwitting vectors for the seeds of garlic mustard.
To decide on the most efficient and effective ways of tackling it, first we must understand its life cycle.
garlic mustard is a biennial. They get by that first year and build up their strength, and then the second year they seed and flower.
First year seedlings, mid-April here in southern Michigan is when they come out, and the ground will be covered with these little itsy-bitsy tiny seedlings. 2 little leaves come out, and the ground will be covered with a carpet of them. Thousands, millions of them.
You can see that they're really dense here in the understory.
And there's some temptation to try to pull all those, but that's not really where the effort is needed.
99.9% of these plants are not going to grow to maturity or even become rosettes. Most of these are going to die. They're going to choke each other out. They're not going to make it. Some of them will. Those are the ones we keep coming back to get.
Here's a second-year rosette, as they call them. The rosette is this multi-stemmed plant. It's really important to pull it out by its root system, get the whole root out.
The ones that survive the winter have these round leaves that have a toothed edge that has rounded teeth. And about this time of year, the plant gets tall, it bolts. As they start to flower, the round leaves become a bit more triangular or heart-shaped, like these ones here. They still have that toothed edge. And this plant is just about to flower. These are the buds. And in another couple of days, these will open up. The flowers are white. They have 4 petals.
And these long, thin, narrow things will become the seed pods. And when they dry, they will dry and the seeds will just kind of fall out and burst out.
There's no other flower with 4 white petals that smells like garlic when crushed. So remember this: petals white and 4, still in doubt? If garlic smell, then pull it out. Identifying it is one thing, but how do you get rid of it? Well, this depends on the size of the infestation. Small patches are easily pulled. If well organized, a group pull can be an effective way for all ages to get out and help the cause. It's important to get all the roots out when you pull, and this is easiest to do after it has bolted. But any time of year, as long as it hasn't gone to seed, is going to be helpful. When you pull it, it is crucial to dispose of garlic mustard properly. Don't compost it, as the seeds aren't killed by the heat in a regular compost pile. Burying it deep enough to prevent its sprouting is nearly impossible. Check with your municipality. Most require that it is bagged. Just make sure the bags are sealed securely, as stray pieces can potentially go to seed.
If you drop some of this, these flowers still have enough energy in them to produce seed, viable seed, the seed that could germinate.
While hand pulling is the method of choice for small patches,
You can see it stretches way back
very
there.
large infestations call for burning or herbiciding, but both are potentially dangerous.
I've met individuals that have been so anxious to use herbicides that they've completely killed all the native wildflowers that are there as well.
Safe herbiciding or burning require investments of training and equipment that are best left to professionals. When it comes to new satellite infestations, we all have a responsibility to spot them and pull them out before they get out of hand.
We have the best opportunities to control and eradicate garlic mustard in the places where it's just now becoming established.
This will help check the spread on both a local and a regional scale. No matter which state you live in,
Containing the spread is really a goal statewide. Preventing the spread of seed from infested areas in the south to uninfested areas in the north is a principal strategy.
containment is a principal strategy on the smaller, local scale as well.
We want to look for the edge of it. And so we want to begin to find that outer edge of the population, and we do that by scouting.
Scouting and mapping new infestations is a helpful tool for guiding control efforts.
The key is to begin around that leading edge and contain that infestation and then work your way in. If you start in the middle and work out, you're more than likely to carry garlic mustard seeds with you, and you may in fact be making the situation worse.
Trails or forest edges are common places for garlic mustard to gain a new foothold. Starting your control efforts at the edge where the infestation began may be convenient, but it is not an efficient strategy. Instead, start beyond the satellite patches and work towards the trail to contain the spread of infestation. Another important principle is that monitoring for new infestations at least once a year is crucial.
So by aggressively scouting our most at-risk habitats regularly, and by acting quickly to contain populations early in their establishment, We have the best chance now of limiting the damage of garlic mustard with the most efficient use of resources.
Once you're familiar with what garlic mustard looks like, spread the word. Alert your neighbors to look for it on their property and snuff it out before it can spread further. Organize a community pull, and don't feel overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. Everything you do helps.
Know that all your efforts each year keep new seeds from being produced, and you just need to wait until that seed bank is completely depleted.
It's not a short-term project. This is a long-term project.
It's all little baby steps, and you do what you can and hopefully have some fun doing it.
Pulling garlic mustard is fun!
The best we can hope for now is containment. We can try and keep it from spreading.
Because we have so much rich forest habitat that has not been infested, that we can keep that way.
It's pretty much a great big challenge.
Last year we were very successful in spreading the whole concept of the garlic mustard
I
challenge.
went over one area yesterday and I could only find like 3 plants, and it used to look like this.
So, you know, there's stuff in there just waiting for the chance to get some light.
This is a list of all of the species that we've documented in this park. So garlic mustard can outcompete.
It went really well. It was a tricky site.
It's an amazing looking woods now. Just a transformation over about 5 or 6 years.
Biodiversity is really what forms the stability for nature.
Because diversity of organisms is the viability, and it's the thing that sustains our ecosystems.
And now I have to pull. I can't talk all day.
Helping the environment by pulling it up, and that's good.